Hi, this is Mrs. Oakley, and today we're going to be looking at place value lesson 3. Now, in the first one, we went to the millions, and then in the second lesson, we went to the 100 millions. Now, this lesson, we're going to go the opposite way. So, I want to build a number with you. So, everybody fill in your paper with this number here. Okay. Now, we have learned about the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, and we've learned that there's periods. Okay, now we have decimals. So going behind the ones is the decimals. Now, one thing that I want you to understand is when we go into decimals, we never have a ones. And here's why. Because the ones is actually being broke up into pieces. So if we took a dollar and we broke it up into pennies or dimes or anything like that, we would be taking that one and making pieces out of it. Okay. So if we had one bar and we broke it into pieces, that was what the decimal. And to say this decimal, we say the word and. So if I was going to read this number, I would say 4,578 and 214 thousandths. Notice this TH that we put on the end of these numbers. When you see those TH on the ends, then you know you're behind the decimal. And you always read the number by the last place value it's in. So 214 thousandths. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about this more, but there's a good starting point. Let's go ahead and move on. Now, they have this in word form, and they want us to take it to standard form. And we all know what? What is standard form? Oh, yeah. I remember numbers. So, first and foremost, I want you to see that here's an and an and. Those are the only two that are going to have something before the decimal. So I'm going to say 0 point. So it's going to say 1500. Well, tenths, hundredths. So the 15, the last number, ends in that hundredths place. Okay. Look in here. It says 1 and, remember that's our decimal, 500ths. Well, then 5, because it's the only number, has to end in the hundredth place. I can't leave the tenths busy, so I'm going to say a 0 there. Good job. All right, go ahead and pause this. I want you to try the the 4 tenths and the 4 and 20,000. And then I want you to come back and see if you got this one correct. All right, so for 4 tenths, because there's no and, we know there's nothing in front of that decimal. But here's the tens place. I'm going to put 4 there. All right. 4 and is our decimal. 20,000. Tenths, hundredths, thousands. So 20,000. Okay. See how the 0 and the 20 ends in the thousandths place. Can't leave tenths empty. So we fill it with a 0. Great job. Now, it has us in standard form, and they want us to go to expanded form. Okay. And I kind of want to show you along with this, I want to show you how to do it in word form. So first, let's do expanded form. So I'm going to take both place values. I don't have to put anything for the 0, but I do have to say 0.1 plus 0.05 because I got to keep this 5 in the hundreds place. A little tricky, right? Okay, let's try the next one. We're going to say 1 plus, and we're going to say 0.05 because again, this is in the second spot. It has to stay there. Go ahead and try the next two in an expanded form and then come and see if you got them right. Okay, so for this one, we really didn't have anything, right? This is 0.4. We can't really expand it out, can we? But here we can say 4 plus 0.02. Okay. Now, I have a 0 here, so I didn't do anything, and I had a 0 there. I didn't do anything. All right, so let's talk about how we would say these words. Well, to say this one, we would say fifth, I can't spell, 15, and what place does it end in? Well, it ends in the hundredths. And here I would say 1 and, because there's that decimal, 5, and we end in the hundredths. Okay, go ahead and pause this video and try those last two in word form and see if you got them correct. All right, for this one, you should have said 4 tenths because it ends in the tenths. Now, this next one's kind of tricky. And there's two ways we could read this. We could say 4 and 2 hundredths. And you're all going to say, but Mrs. Oakley, this 0 ends in the thousands. When there's a 0 behind a number, not in front of a number, okay, so because this 0, we could drop it. So we could also say this is 4, let me type it, 4 and 20 thousandths. Either one would be appropriate. All right, that's the end of place value lesson 3. And in fact, that's the last place value lesson that you have. So go ahead and go back to Classcraft, continue on your pathway, and then you will start your next lesson or your next standard after you're finished with this. All right, see you for the next lesson.